For joining us. We are getting ready for our live scuba dive, and we are here on the central coast of California at Point Lobos State Natural Reserve, one of our many beautiful California state parks. And today we all get to join our diver, Erika, and her team. We have diving down there as well, Jeremy and Ashley. So let's get into it. We want to see how they're doing. Erika, can you hear me? What's going on down there?
Good morning, Erica here in the kelp forest. I've got some of my buddies here. My dive buddies, Jeremy. Ashley's hanging out around here somewhere too. And we're doing one of our favorite parts of our job right now. We're scuba diving. Are you hearing us loud and clear, Kayla?
We sure are, Erika. We can hear you and we can see it. It looks so beautiful down there in the kelp forest. Can you share a little bit more of what you're doing down there, what you're seeing?
So we're just down here doing our day-to-day work. Just kidding. Scuba diving is a very special part of being a state parks interpreter. And you know what? One of the things that state park staff get a lot of questions about from students is about our jobs and the type of career paths that have taken us to this special place. A lot of state park staff are very lucky to get to work in really special spots, like right here in the Point Lobos State Marine Reserve. So it's really exciting for us to do this program for you today to share with you all the cool things that you can do while scuba diving. Are you still hearing me all good and clear up on top, Kayla?
We are, Erika. We have more folks joining us live. Thank you, everyone. Again, we are at Point Lobos and we're talking to diver Erika. She's talking about this special marine protected area down underneath in the kelp forest. Erika, we can hear you loud and clear. Have you been able to see any wildlife down in that special habitat by chance?
I'm sorry, Kayla. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, great. Thank you for checking in. Erika, is this a little better?
If that sounds all right to you. All right.
I
Well, I'm
love
going to
that.
go ahead and just share a little bit about scuba diving because I know that's why many of you tuned in today. So I mentioned my name's Erica. I've got Jeremy and Ashley down here with me today, and we are all state parks interpreters. So when you go out to a state park and you learn from people working in the park, more often than not, they're state park interpreters who are sharing the story of their parks. Now, on the state parks dive team, we have a lot of different staff members who also scuba dive, who do different jobs. So we have state parks rangers, state parks lifeguards. They're really involved with a lot of public safety. We also have state parks archaeologists who look at our submerged resources like shipwrecks or communities that are now underwater. We also have state parks environmental scientists who are studying the species and the habitats that are underwater. So a lot of people are on the state parks dive team. Now, one of the cool things to be thinking about as you're thinking about scuba diving are the different things that you can do while you're underwater. So I want to take a minute and take a quick poll of the classrooms who are tuning in today. I want you guys to look around to all your classmates and I want you to raise your hands. Who in your classroom loves to go on adventures? Does anyone like to go exploring? Well, that's what we do down here underwater. There's a lot of adventure and exploring when you're underwater. Now, all right, next question. Is there anyone in your classroom who really likes to build things or fix things? Maybe a couple of you? So, as divers, sometimes divers come underwater, and commercial divers will do things like repair piers or fix boats, or even do things with offshore wind turbines. A lot of cool things you can do to build and fix things underwater. Another cool career path in scuba diving, of course, is science. Does anyone in your classroom love science? I definitely love science, so you can become a marine biologist and come down here and study all these cool things that hang out underwater. Speaking of cool stuff that hangs out underwater, do you want to have a look at something real quick? So we're here in the rocky reef, and right here in this crevice are a couple of different creatures. Can you see them? I don't want to get too close because I might disturb the fish, but there's a rockfish sitting right there. See if I can zoom in a little bit for you. Do you see the rockfish sitting next to a sea star? That rockfish is tucked into the rocky reef. All of the pink stuff that you see around it is coralline algae. You can see it's tucked in and it's hiding in that crevice. Next to it is a bat star. Now let's pause and have a moment thinking about what you all are noticing in this underwater scene. Maybe turn to the person next to you and tell them what you notice. What does this scene make you wonder about? Does it remind you of anything?
Somebody asked, can you grab the sea star?
What was that, Kayla?
Somebody asked if you can grab the sea star.
Oh, that's a really good question. Now,
Can you repeat the question?
the question that just came through was, can we grab the sea star? Now, I'm definitely going to leave that sea star in place. I do not want to disturb it, and I'm keeping my distance from the fish because I don't want to chase it away either. The important thing to remember about sea stars is under each one of those 5 arms, they've got hundreds of little tube feet. Those tube feet have little suction cups on the ends, and it keeps them sucked and held really tight to the rock. And if I tried to pull that sea star off, it might injure all of its little tube feet. So I'm definitely going to leave it in place. The other reason why we'd want to leave it in place is because we are in a marine protected area. So all the living things in this marine protected area are protected. They need to be left alone and unharmed. So we're not going to disturb that sea star or the fish that is sitting next to it. Really beautiful views of the kelp forest today. All right. So we were talking about all the different jobs and things you can do while you're underwater, including marine science and studying these really cool animals. I also really like to talk to people and educate them about these environments and help them understand why it's really important to protect them. Our global ocean is a very special place. It regulates our climate. It produces more than 50% of the oxygen in our atmosphere. So every other breath we take, we can say, thank you, ocean. You're doing a great job. Do you guys want to take a couple deep breaths with me? Let's do 2 in a row. First one is a regular one. Second one, we finish it with saying, thank you, ocean. Are you going to come with me? All right, one big deep breath. Thank you, ocean, for all that lovely oxygen. So it was really important to protect these places. All right, so another part about scuba diving that's really important to remember is staying safe while you're adventuring underwater. And there are a couple ways that you need to do that. Number one is training. You can start training to become a scuba diver when you're a teenager. Pretty cool. At age 16, you can get fully certified to come scuba diving out here in the open ocean. Now, from that point, it's kind of like going through school, where you start out in elementary school, middle school, high school. As you go through school, you learn more things, right? Same with scuba diving, except for it doesn't take quite as long as going through 12 grades of school. So as you get your different certifications, you learn about different special gear that you can use. You can go to deeper depths down in the ocean, which is awesome. And so here at state parks, some of the things that we've done is training on specialized gear so that we can bring you down here under the kelp forest. Now, something that you can't see right now is the camera that I'm holding in my hand. I have a specialized underwater camera. It's a digital SLR camera in an underwater housing. Now, this underwater housing is sealed nice and tight so the camera doesn't get wet. And then there's two big lights right now that are shining down in my face. Now, that camera is working to send this video up to the surface. The other thing you may have noticed is you can actually hear me talking right now. And that's because I'm wearing this very special, what we call a full face mask. You can see my eyes. Behind here is my nose. And right here is my mouth. You see all these bubbles coming out. And that's because this portion is called the regulator. It's delivering air to my mouth through this hose that you can see right here that attaches to a tank on my back. Now, in this little regulator, there's also a microphone so you can hear my voice. And here on the sides of my head, I've got little headphones. And that's how I'm able to hear Kayla up on the surface. Pretty cool, right? Now, I am holding the camera in selfie mode right now, so I'm going to turn it around and show you my friend Jeremy so you can have a better look at the gear that we use as state park divers. Let's see if I can find Jeremy. Oh, there he is, just hanging out in the kelp forest. So Jeremy's going to start by showing you his dive tank on the back. You can see he's doing a little dance for you. Very good. Thanks, Jeremy. So Jeremy's wearing his full face mask. I'm super stoked that he's doing a little groove for you. He's also wearing a wetsuit. You can see his gloves. That insulating wetsuit keeps him nice and warm in the cold water that's about 50 degrees today. Oh my gosh! And scissors? It's important to have cutting devices with you just to make sure that you don't get tangled in the kelp. You can free yourself. He's also got his BCD, that vest that he's wearing is a buoyancy control device. Now that BCD lets him regulate how high he sits in the water, so you can add air to it and also add weight to it to stay nice and deep. Now he's got in his hand there a flashlight. Flashlights are really important for not only being able to spot each other underwater in dark conditions, but also being able to spot the wildlife. It looks like he is going to go have a look around with his flashlight right now. If he can get it to turn on. All right, Jeremy. Cool. Well, we're going to have a quick look around at some more wildlife. Let's see what else we might be able to spot on this rocky reef. Just going to cruise around this rock here. Oh, it looks like there's another bat star hanging out here.
Hi, Erica. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I could.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. We have some questions. First question, have you ever seen a shark?
Oh my gosh, yes. I love all the questions about sharks. I have seen sharks underwater, and a lot of them. And I get so excited when I see sharks. You know why? When sharks are in a marine ecosystem, it actually means that the ecosystem is healthy. The sharks are very key predators, and what they do in these different underwater habitats, whether you're on a coral reef or rocky reef in these different coastal environments, sharks play the role of reducing the number of animals that may not be genetically well. So maybe they're not the strongest animal in the ocean, or maybe the animal has an injury or an illness. And so the sharks help clear those genes out of the gene pool, and it keeps the other populations of animals healthy. Also, when you see sharks in ocean habitats, you know there must be a lot of biodiversity and a lot of food for them to support larger predators like that. So whenever I see a shark, I'm super excited because sharks are our friends. Great question. Do we have any other questions?
We do, and we love that. Sharks are our friends. So you were talking about the ecosystem, and we have a lot of questions about different animals, maybe sea urchins, or are there any other animals that you often see while you're scuba diving?
There's a question about other animals that I also see while scuba diving.
Yes. What other animals do you see?
Oh, that's cool. So I see a lot of different animals while scuba diving. Here in the Monterey area, I've seen animals like harbor seals. Harbor seals who come and swim by. They're very curious. Sometimes they'll come up behind me and grab on. Oh my God! Holy! Oh my goodness! Right there. That was amazing. Those are harbor seals. I was just talking about them, and we just got to see a mother and her pup. I am amazed right now because that was incredible timing that mother harbor seal just came and saw hello. Wow, the ocean is so amazing sometimes. And that's really exciting to be talking about those animals and just have them appear out of the blue. I am thrilled. So seeing harbor seals is something that does happen here, as you just saw. Secondly, we do sometimes see the southern sea otter. Now I have to keep an eye out just in case it comes out of the blue. The southern sea otter will occasionally come down through. Sometimes I'll also see diving birds. So birds like cormorants that will come down diving and looking for fish. Speaking of which, there's always a lot of fish around. Now, I am making a lot of bubbles, and I'm in an area where there aren't too many fish around me right now. But if you go up into the kelp canopy, there can be a lot up there, as well as down on the seafloor. So lots of cool animals to see. I've also done diving in other parts of the ocean as well, in tropical environments. Just a couple months ago, I got to go scuba diving in Hawaii. And I didn't see them, but I heard the humpback whales singing in the water around me, which is so cool. Any other questions, Kayla?
There sure are. And how incredible was that to see those seals? One of the questions is, how long can you stay underwater with your tanks?
That's a really good question. So what I'm going to do right now is check the air that I have on my tank. So I have 1,720 psi. When I got into the water, I had 3,200 pounds of air per square inch in my tank. That usually sets me up to be able to spend 45 minutes to an hour underwater. Now, because I'm talking to you, I'm using a lot of air. So I probably will only stay down here for maybe about 45 minutes today, or a little bit shorter. The other thing that we have to keep in mind is it's not just the limit of our air, but it's also how cold it is. So this water is about 50 degrees today, which is very chilly. That's why we're wearing our wetsuits. So more often than not, what gets me out of the water is when I start to feel very cold. Great question. Are there any others?
Thanks for answering, Erika. Yeah, we had some questions as far as when you're underwater. Do you ever get scared?
Do I ever get scared underwater?
Yeah, that was the question.
feel really safe underwater, and a lot of reason for me feeling safe is because I trust my dive buddies. I've got Ashley over there in the corner as well. So I've got dive buddies who are keeping an eye on me, and I'm keeping an eye on them. And so I trust my dive buddies, but I also trust my knowledge and my training and my experience being here in the water. So I'm familiar with my equipment and I know what I need to do to keep myself safe so I don't get scared. Now, there's always things that can surprise me about the ocean environment. The things that sometimes scare me a little bit is when there's a lot of water current, because it can be hard to swim against current. But the big thing to remember is you can always safely end a dive and go back up to the surface if you don't feel safe. But a lot of people ask me that thinking about wildlife. I'm not scared of the wildlife down here. Everything is here. It's just so amazing to see it all. So it's not something that I'm scared of. Good questions. Are there any others? Or should we have?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? All right, Erica. We were just wondering about trash. If there's ever any trash under the water that you find.
So that is a really great question. And unfortunately, yes, we do tend to see trash in the ocean. It's something that I've seen on a lot of my dives, actually. So much so that whenever I go scuba diving, I will pick up the trash that I find and I stick it into my pockets and I'll bring it back to the surface. Now, the importance of that, of course, is helping to clean up the ocean, but even more important is what we do up on land. The solution isn't cleaning it up, but the solution is stopping the flow of plastic waste into our ocean. So we can do things thinking about how we can cut waste out of our lives by reducing the plastic waste, plastic packaging, styrofoam packaging, single-use plastics. See where you can say no to plastics so they don't even come into your life. Even more importantly, you can do things like support legislation in your community or rules in your community or even at your school to make sure that there isn't plastic or styrofoam allowed. And that will help reduce the amount of trash that is getting down here into our ocean. Awesome question. Thank you for that one.
Thank you for answering, Erica. You're absolutely right. It's so important that all of us, no matter where we are taking care of our trash before it gets to the ocean. Absolutely. And for the folks that are just joining, again, welcome. We are visiting with diver Erika. She is live underwater scuba diving at Point Lobos. Erika, I think you mentioned this. We just want to make sure we're understanding, when can you start learning to scuba dive? When can folks try to do what you're doing right now?
That's a question we get from kids a lot. Now, here in the United States, there's a couple different rules. The very minimum age for starting to try on scuba gear is only 10 years old. But at age 10, you can only scuba dive in a swimming pool. So it's more learning about how to use the gear. At age 15 is when you can do your first junior scuba diver experience. So you have to be a teenager. And then at age 16 is when you can get your open water certification and start scuba diving out in the ocean like another diver. So you got to be a teenager before you really get started into scuba diving. So I do want to have a little bit of a swim around. Since we do have a few more minutes to check out the kelp forest before we have to wrap up. Does that sound good to you, Kayla?
Yes, Erika, that's perfect. In our last few minutes, we would love to see all around you. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we're going to check out the kelp forest, move around a little bit. I've got Jeremy and Ashley here with me. One of the things that I forgot to tell you guys about when we were talking about gear is one important component, which are the fins. Jeremy's going to show you. He's got some fins on. He's very good at his underwater dancing. So those fins are going to allow us to kick around and move around in the water a little bit. And you know what? I just saw something really special. Right here on the sea floor is an abalone shell. This is a really big one. So this is from a seashell. Sorry. The swell is pushing me around a little bit here. So this is from a snail called an abalone. It's a very shiny shell. There's many of these down here in Point Lobos. Another thing that you're going to notice is there's a lot of this plant material in the water. Now these aren't plants, this is called kelp. It is a type of giant algae, and it forms the kelp forest that we're in right now. Now this kelp forest holds on really tight to the rocks using what is called a hold fast. The hold fast does kind of look like roots, but the whole point of the hold fast is to hold it nice and tight on the rock so that the kelp can grow up from the sea floor. You can see all of those long vertical strands. Those are called the stipes of the kelp. And the reason why the kelp is able to rise up off the sea floor is because of these cool bladders called nematocysts. They're filled with gas, and it allows the kelp to rise up to the surface. Now this is the growing end of the kelp right here. This is called the meristem. Let's see if I can get a good look. There's the meristem. That's the very tip of that kelp frond. So pretty cool stuff, this kelp. It helps us sequester carbon. It's a carbon sink. Kelp forests also help protect our shorelines by reducing wave action and erosion. So kelp is really important for climate change. All right, we are going to swim a little bit through this kelp forest.
Erika, this is so cool. I am so excited. It feels like we are swimming underwater with you. Really quick, how fast can kelp grow, or how high and tall can it grow?
Sorry, Kayla, can you repeat your question? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just wondering the height of kelp, how tall it can grow.
Kelp in general wants to grow in areas where there's a lot of sunlight because it has to photosynthesize. So it's not going to be a water that's deeper than about 100 feet or so. But the kelp is going to grow about 2 feet a day in the peak summertime, which is pretty awesome. Now, this kelp will, of course, reach up to the surface of the ocean and then spread out like a canopy across the top.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Erika. It is coming to that time where we're going to have to say goodbye. Erika, can we see you one last time before we send off?
Just a minute. I want to get out of the thick part of this kelp forest so that I don't get tangled up in it. Now, this has been really great to have you guys here underwater with me. I did want to share with you that we're going to be doing a longer program here, right here in this kelp forest for World Ocean Day. Now, World Ocean Day happens on June 8th, but we're going to be having programming happening on both June 7th and June 8th. So whether you're still in school or not, you can tune in and join us here in the kelp forest. We're going to look at more animals, check out more kelp, and even in just a couple of months, the kelp forest is going to be so much thicker than it is now. So I hope you'll tune in and join us for World Ocean Day again, June 7th and 8th, right here in Monterey, California at Point Lobos State Marine Reserve. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Kayla, it's been great working with you and having you here as we've explored this beautiful spot here in Monterey.
Thank you so much, Erika, and to the scuba dive team down there. We had so much fun. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and we will see you on June 8th for World Ocean Day. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you soon.
Bye.